Yep, they're ready. Well, these potatoes in these two rows have died back almost completely. If you look at the rest of the garden, you'll see that there is still some green left. But we're not going to wait any longer. These potatoes have been in the ground for over 80 days. It's an overcast, windy day, so sorry about the wind, but it's going to rain soon, and we want to get these potatoes out while the soil is still dry. This bed is a 32-foot long by 3-foot wide bed, so about 100 square feet of potatoes, and we planted them in rows, and we planted them deep, about 7-8 inches deep, and then we covered them with mulch. And you can see a lot of them actually are right up by the surface. There's some green on some of these, but we'll get to that in a little bit. This process is going to be 3 parts. We need to go through, cut back all of the greens, and then we're going to come back through and pick up the straw and hay because we don't want that mixing in with the rest of the soil. And then we're going to harvest up what we hope is a great harvest of potatoes. But before we get to that, I want to show you something. If you follow us on Twitter at Guten Gardening, you probably saw a picture of these, and it was surprising how many people didn't know what they were. Well, not really surprising, because if you haven't seen a potato fruit before, how could you know? This is not something you want to eat. Your potatoes are part of the nightshade family, and if you tried to eat this, and this actually contains, let's see if we can open it up, this actually contains hundreds of potato seeds. These are true potato seeds. But if you tried to eat this berry here, you wouldn't enjoy the results. You'd be pretty sick. So these are gonna go, the rest of the greens are gonna go. Now, while you can't be here with us in person and enjoy this harvest, you get to take part in a virtual harvest. And we all know that when you're growing potatoes, harvesting is half the fun. So sit back, relax, and enjoy what we hope will be a massive potato harvest. Along the end here, we actually have some okra that came up, and I think with the potatoes out of the way, it'll probably start performing just a little bit better. Actually, along the way, you probably noticed we planted corn between rows, and we tried to plant some on the outside of the bed as well, but we planted it a little bit late for it to do well, I think, especially the ones in between the rows of potatoes, because by the time we got it planted, the potatoes were a little bit too tall and they got shaded out a little bit. By the way, you know, there's a little bit of green left in these, and you saw that as well as we went along the way. But the reason we're pulling it up now is because we're preparing for our fall crop. Succession planting is so important to us, and so we've got to get this bed ready for what comes next, and I think we'll have plenty of potatoes in here to merit what we're doing now. If I seem a little bit out of breath, it's because, well, I mean, that's a lot of work. Not hard work, but it's a lot of work. We planted more potatoes here than we've ever tried to grow before. And so step 1 is done. We've got the greens up and we're ready to move on to step 2. So I'm gonna haul these away. We're gonna get this straw up next. All right. trying really hard to be careful as I gather this up, not to damage this beautiful winter squash that's growing out of our hay bale. We planted these, again, 7-8 inches deep, but it really doesn't seem to matter. I mean, they're right up to the surface. So if you look over here, some of these right on the surface are starting to turn green. And we're not going to eat that. It's not healthy, it's not good for you. But we are going to save it as a seed potato for our next planting. We've got most of the straw hay up. I'm going to dump this off, and then we dig up the potatoes. Back where we started, and I am super excited because if you look down here, we're seeing a ton of potatoes even up on the surface. Again, some of them are green. We're going to save those as seed potatoes, but we're seeing quite a few, well, easy pickings here, that are a good size, and we are super excited for what could be underneath here. Now, I have our fork ready to go in case we need it. This isn't like our container or our other raised bed soils. This is more of a native soil compost mix. And so this might be a little bit more difficult to get in and really harvest. So if we need the fork, we've got it there, but we're still gonna start by hand. I said it before, I love getting in here with my hands, and we're gonna harvest the first couple plants together. All right, let's see what we got. Who knows, when you pull this out the first time, it's like, is it all gonna come out at once, or what's gonna happen? Well, okay, a little anticlimactic there. Oh look, again, if you've never seen this before, there is the seed potato. There's what's left of the seed potato here. All consumed up, and a few small potatoes, but it looks like most of them are right here in the surrounding ground. So let's see. Potatoes, oh yes, those are lovely. Look at that, just what you want to see coming out of your potato garden. Smaller ones are just as delicious. You know, one of the reasons why we don't like to go in with the fork is we don't want to hit any of these, but you know what, I can feel it down underneath here. Watch. Careful as possible. And we'll go back down through after we pull most of these out and see if we've missed any. But that's one plant. Right here, one plant. We've got so many more to go. Get the second one out. Oh, look at this. Boy, I hope you're as excited as I am about this. Again, I know you don't get to eat it with me, but man, look at that potato. I'm gonna take you through just a few of these. Then we're gonna set you down and let you enjoy this experience. Oh man, this is awesome. Take these and we'll eat them as we go as well. Have no problem with that. I'm gonna have some of these for lunch. But we're gonna take these and we're gonna cure them as well, because our intent is to have plenty of these for the entire winter. All right, I think we missed a few in here because I couldn't get my hands the whole way down in the soil. So we've got our fork. We're gonna turn over a couple of times just to see if there's anything else down in here, and we'll go from there. We gotta be careful. I'm gonna wreck any of these plants, and we don't want to stab our potatoes. Just work it down in here. Here. This soil, even 5 or 6 inches down, is pretty compact. We've worked pretty hard the last couple years to amend this soil, again adding compost to it, just to try that. Our native soil is really clay, but it looks like, based on what we're seeing right there, that most of the potatoes are pretty near the surface. There are some still down in here. Oh yeah, there's, okay. There we go. These are the ones you don't want to miss. We just finished our first row, and I have to tell you, I'm impressed with our harvest. The seed potatoes for these we bought from the store. Isn't that beautiful? We bought it from the store. I know there are more down in here. We're gonna go through with a fork, and we're gonna get those. We're gonna do one more row together. These first 3 rows are all store-bought or from store-bought seed potatoes. So we're gonna do one more row together. Then we're gonna set you down and let you enjoy. So here we go, let's see. A lot on the surface once again. Here we go. Down to the ground. Oh, that's lovely. Boy, isn't half the adventure not knowing what's going to come up out of the ground? You hope for the best, you wait for months, and then the day finally comes. And so far, we are not disappointed at all. Look at these beauties. The overcast day is helping as well. Not nearly as hot as it's been the last few days. There we go. All right, sit back, relax, and watch us go to work. Yes! Look at these. A little bit scabby potatoes here. You still eat them. You don't really want that, but you can still eat them. full. So come in here real close. You'll see a lot of these little potatoes on here. So these are some of the plants that had more green left on top of them than some of the others. And so these could have stayed in the ground longer. Again, if we weren't going to start our next part of the succession planting with our fall crop, we could have definitely left them in the ground a little bit longer. And it's the same thing as we said before. There are a lot more potatoes attached still, rather than those that have died back. When I pull them out of the ground, the potatoes pop right off. Like an archaeologist, I'm uncovering these potato fossils gently, carefully, and that's it. Successful removal. These red potatoes that you see, we grew from certified organic seed potatoes. Look at this. Look at these potatoes. Wow. Oh, this is unbelievable. Look at this. Just gorgeous. This soil is getting pretty difficult to work through, so I'm going to bring in the spade and try to get up underneath some of it so that I'm not scratching these potatoes with my hands. Oh, there we go. These red ones seem to be a little bit deeper. Now these were all planted at the same time. There's definitely some variance in terms of development. just start sweating profusely through my hat and everywhere. Looks like the weatherman wasn't quite right, and we just got poured on. But that's okay. We're gonna get right back at it. Who knows, maybe the soil will be a little bit easier to work with here. I don't think it's soaked low enough. Whoa! Oh my! That was just shocking. Now look at this. Do any of you know what this is? We're going to research him. We'll put the name in the video when we make it, but boy, that was a moment. I thought I had a red potato in the middle of white potatoes or yellow potatoes. But wow, that's a big guy. We're going to use the fork for the last couple rows. go back through with the fork because I'm pretty confident there's some a little bit deeper that we missed that I couldn't get to with my hands. And then we're gonna compile it all together and show you just what our harvest looks like. This is why we go back through with the fork. We missed about 5 to 6 pounds of potatoes, and so we're going to put these with the others, and then we're going to give you the total harvest weight for our potato crop. Never had a potato harvest even remotely close to this. Of course, we've never actually planted this many potatoes either. If you remember, we planted potatoes 4 different ways. So we've changed our mind. We're not going to tell you the total weight of this potato crop until we've harvested all 4 styles of potatoes. We hope you enjoyed watching this video almost as much as we enjoyed making it. If you did, leave us a like, give us a comment, tell us what you think the total weight of this harvest is. And when we go for the big reveal, we'll let you know if you're correct. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and remember, when you're with us, you're good to grow.